Welcome to episode 2 of Let's Go Outside. Today we're going to explore the possibilities of a canoe, as it's a great alternative and maybe an addition to your water activities on our POA lakes. There's different paddle strokes that we use, and the interesting thing is we only paddle from one side, generally speaking, if it's going to be the traditional fashion. So, John's behind the camera, I'm Carol. Let's go outside. Canoes come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes and different activities for different types of canoes as well. This is Lenny. She's 16 feet long. She is designed to carry 2 people canoeing or 1. I have her set up for 1 person. But with additional seats, she can have 2 people. And that's called tandem canoeing. It's a little different than what we're going to go over today, but what we're going to go over can be used for tandem or solo canoeing. The green canoe behind me is 11 feet 9 inches. It is a dedicated solo canoe. It's very heavy compared to Lenny, but it's also indestructible. It has a foam core and plastic and nylon exterior, so it's really, really tough. It's very old. Lenny, 16 feet, she weighs 32 pounds because she's made of Kevlar. But she has been through a lot of adventures. You could probably see some scars and scratches and dents on her, but she's been my friend for a long time. People say that traditional canoeing is a dying art form, and kayaks are very popular nowadays, and there's nothing wrong with them at all, but I prefer to canoe. A lot of people believe canoeing is hard because they want to do a stroke over here, and then they have to do one over here in order to keep going straight. In reality, if you canoe the proper way, the traditional way, you don't need to switch sides. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to canoe predominantly on the right side of the canoe. And there are different types of canoes as well that you can canoe traditionally. Right here we have an 11 feet 9 inch canoe that is a dedicated solo canoe for 1 person, and maybe a small child and a dog, or cat. But that is not a canoe that I'm going to focus on today. Today we're going to focus on a canoe like this. It's 16 feet. It has room for 3 people, 2 people, or 1 person. Kids, a dog, and a cat also. So we're going to focus on this because it works very well on our POA lakes. And if you do it the traditional fashion, you're not going to have any trouble at all. Paddles come in different sizes, shapes, materials. I prefer wood. But the paddle strokes we're going to go over are ones that are going to help you go straight and go in whatever direction you want to go to. There are 3 phases of doing a paddle stroke. The first is what we call the catch. You extend your arms fairly a lot, but not totally way out. And you catch the water. Then we do a power stroke. This is what propels us. And when we get to the end of that, we do what's called feathering the paddle. And now it acts as a rudder to control our going straight and can help us turn as well if we need to. Catch, power, feather. And it's now a rudder to help us go straight if we want to keep our direction or change it. There are other strokes as well. A C stroke is a stroke that can get you moving from a stationary position fairly quickly. And it's called a C stroke for a reason, because we make a C just like this. It's a very powerful stroke to get you moving. Catch, come about to my side, the side of the canoe, and make a C. Still feathering, still rotating the paddle in my hand. I've got a pretty good grip on the top of the grip, but at the bottom it's fairly loose. So the paddle can freely rotate in my hand. The other strokes that we can do to help you stop, and that can be important, is you want to do the opposite of the initial stroke we did, which is often called a J stroke. For a right-handed person like me, it's a backwards J. So this is a J stroke to move forward. But if we want to stop, we do a reverse J stroke. Like so. And that will help you stop your canoe. And you'll notice that I'm rotating my body when I'm making these strokes. I'm not just using my arms. My body, upper body, is actually what is propelling the paddle and the canoe. And now I want to stop or slow down. Other paddle strokes that can come in handy is, it's kind of like a figure eight, but not really. Going in a motion like this, it's almost a back and forth motion. But by doing so and bringing the paddle a little bit closer to the side of the canoe, or to me, I can move toward an object, toward a tree, toward a dock, toward a seawall. If I want to move away from a tree, or a seawall, or a dock, I do the opposite. It's not a wide stroke, it's very simple. You're just kind of wiggling it along. With a little bit of practice, you can do it. To abruptly change directions. Say you want to go around an object. We do what's called a sweep stroke. It's like using a broom. Sweep. And this is rather far away from the canoe, but it will make the front of the canoe, the bow, go to the left. By the same token, if you want the bow of the canoe to go to the right, you do the opposite. And now the bow will be moving in this direction. So find your paddle, get a canoe, and go out and have fun and practice some strokes. On nice calm water like we have on our Bella Vista POA lakes, they're perfect for canoeing. And it could be in addition to any kayaks or anything that you may have. And it might even enhance your experience on the water, because you can carry people with you who may not be familiar with paddling or canoeing or anything on the water. Some handy things and some safety things to bring along with you while you're canoeing is, one of the most important things, at least to me, is to have a spare paddle. I always bring two. In case I drop one, your hand is not a very good paddle, so having a spare available just in case is always a good idea. We all want to bring our cell phones with us because we can take pictures along the way. This is a dry box. It is a sealed, watertight box, and I keep my phone in it. I can take my phone out quickly, take any pictures I want to take, put it back in, and securely lock it. Really handy, because you know how many times people have lost their phone or dropped them in the water. So this is a great idea. Safety-wise, a flotation device. They come in all sorts of different varieties and types. As long as it's Coast Guard certified, that's really all you need to look for. But you also want to make sure that it fits properly. It doesn't come off over your head or your child's head. This is one I like for the summer. It's very lightweight. It just straps in the back. It has a cylinder in it. If I fall in the water will activate that cylinder and it will inflate this automatically. I haven't had to use it yet in that fashion, but it's always, to me, nice for summer when you might not want to wear something like this. I tend to canoe year-round, even in the winter, because unlike with a kayak, I don't get wet from water coming down from the paddle. So in the winter I wear a more substantial type of life jacket or flotation device. It provides a little bit of warmth, and I'm going to try and get out of the water as fast as I can. Which brings me to another important point. When on Bella Vista Lakes, generally speaking, the deepest part is in the middle. I like to canoe fairly close to the shore, always, because if I do capsize, fall out, I can easily swim to the shore. Depending on the depth, you could even walk. Right here, I can walk. But regardless, your safety is the most important thing, and that's what we want to be aware of. The most is to get out safely, and that part of that is staying closer to the shore as you can. Some other good things to bring along. Water. Even if you don't think you're going to be out very long, please bring water. A snack. I usually bring trail mix, something like that. I also bring a light jacket, particularly if I'm out in the fall or in the spring. You never know when the wind might come up, it might get a little chilly, and a light jacket that's very compact. Insect repellent. Out in the open part of our lakes, there aren't many mosquitoes because there's sometimes often wind. But if you get into a cove that is protected from the wind, the mosquitoes can be terrible. So bring insect repellent. Sunscreen. I have on sun protective clothing, but my face does not, and I'm going to for sure use sunscreen on my face. The sun is going to reflect from the water and come right up in my face. So sunscreen for your face. Sunglasses, of course, and they're on a lanyard, so if they fall off, they probably won't fall off because they're on a lanyard, but if they do, probably reach and get it fairly quickly with that lanyard. And being polarized, you can look into the water and see fish, turtles, all sorts of things that you cannot see if you don't have on polarized sunglasses. I have a little first aid kit as well. They're mainly Band-Aids. In case I'm paddling with someone and I accidentally cut myself or they cut themselves, we have Band-Aids. But try always, if you have an open wound on your hand or any other part of you, you really should think twice about going in any body of water, because there's a lot of things in water naturally. And you want to avoid an infection. So I try not to go anywhere with any type of open wound on my body. And everything goes in this dry sack. Our dry box is for our foam. It's extremely durable. This sack is also waterproof, but everything can go in here. And the most important thing is to roll it up and roll it up several times and then snap it together. And it will remain watertight. You want some air in it to provide flotation, because your things are going to weigh something and it will float because of the air inside the bag. For canoes and kayaks, you always want to have ropes on them. Not only can you tie down your kayak on your dock safely and keep it from blowing away, but if you do flip your kayak or capsize your canoe, ropes can make it very handy to grab and to bring your canoe along with you. If you don't swim very well and you end up in the water, stay with your kayak or your canoe, because it's a flotation device in and of itself. If you swim, you can just grab onto the rope and tow it back to shore. Empty it out and continue on with your day. A handy thing to also have, which is really important, is a whistle. I have one attached to all my life vests. It sounds a lot louder than my voice ever will. And if you need help, you go on a whistle, someone will hear you. And it's pretty much a universal code for help. So always try and have a whistle with you as well when you're on the water. Getting in and out of a canoe or a kayak, there's very important safety portions of it. When you are getting in, you want to have 3 points of contact with the ground or with the canoe or with the seawall, but 3 points of contact. That will keep you from falling into the canoe or pushing it away when you get in, and certainly not falling on rock, which would probably hurt quite a bit. 3 points of contact. The seat is here. I'm going to have my hands on the canoe. I'm going to lift my closest leg out of the water and step in to the canoe. Now I have 4 points of contact. I'm safely and securely, and my backside is on the seat. Now, 3 points of contact, 4 if you count my backside. And now I'm safely and securely in the canoe. I like to kneel when I canoe. You don't have to have a lot of pressure on my knees. It's all on the seat. But this enables me to reach the water easily. And you see the canoe is leaning just a tiny bit. And that enables me to get very close to the water and close to the gunnel of the canoe. This is the gunnel. So when I make strokes, I'm fairly close to the canoe. And I can actually use the gunnel of the canoe to help with my recovery stroke. When I feather that paddle, this can be helpful. This is not for my hand. This is to keep from this going on when I'm paddling. Not as loud. Thank you so much for joining us on Bella Vista Community Television. Our videos come out the second Wednesday of every month. And next month, we have a fabulous surprise for you. So thank you for watching. And until next month, go outside.